You want the mic pretty close to you.
Well, I mean, that works.
That works.
Right? Sure.
Yeah. And then we can, put in some kind of scary battlescape in the background.
I don't know how to do that.
Neither do I. We'll fix it in post on that live
Are we
feed.
good? Oh, yeah.
I mean,
fine.
I've been recording it.
Oh, have you been recording? Well, here, let me go get play.
Yeah, you should hit play.
You hit play.
See, there's recording going on, so those folks, the true believers. No, I'm just kidding. They're like, do you really want to do that?
Yeah, how many times are you going to ask me to go live?
Are you sure?
Look at that.
This is it. This is the last time. Are we live?
Apparently we're live.
We're live.
Deadzone the podcast is live.
Deadzone the podcast is live.
The problem is I can't take a picture like I always do of us recording. But that's all right, because...
Yeah, we'll have to... Here.
A little bit. Yeah,
I'll
you take... Oh, yeah, give me the camera and I'll take the picture.
Yeah, here.
Because that's what I do, right?
Here, let me close out that I was listening to Countercharge on their episode on Firefight.
Countercharge. Flop.
Whop.
There we go.
Yeah.
So, can we get the...
Can you get the camera in?
Do it this way.
Yeah. We're dorks, guys.
Now you gotta post it.
Now I gotta post it.
Well, you don't have to post it now.
I gotta. We're live.
You gotta? You gotta post it now because we're live?
Yeah, that's the requirement.
Hey, guess what?
Yeah.
This is Deadzone the podcast.
This is Deadzone the podcast.
I'm Rick.
I'm Brian.
Welcome to the Deadzone podcast. Deadzone is the sci-fi tabletop.
We're live. We're live over there.
We're live there.
But recording here.
Which is TikTok.
TikTok.
And
this will be on
Podbean. This will be on Podbean and everywhere else that you can get your podcast.
Including the Facebook fanatic groups and MMC group and, everywhere.
Yeah.
So how's it going, man?
It's going pretty well. I've just got to make sure I get this.
It's really interesting because usually he doesn't do anything on his phone while we're doing this.
Yeah. So I'm on TikTok too.
Yay!
And so there, we're posted. I think.
Yeah. Oh, I heard it. We're totally posted.
Yep. All right. So yes, the most professional podcast.
Oh, we are so professional.
You ever heard talking about Deadzone the podcast? That's right. We talk about the podcast on the podcast.
Well, why not?
I mean, that's what we're doing.
It's true.
We just talked about all the minutiae. I was like, I got to hit record. You've got to get the video going.
It's live.
I've got to take the picture. So there's a lot of hard work that goes into this season of Deadzone the podcast.
We're getting it. We're figuring it out.
We're figuring it out. But we do actually have quite a bit of stuff to cover.
We do.
Because there's been a heck of a lot of news in a very short period of time.
Very short period of time, yeah, definitely.
So to start everything off, I think
Dun.
it'd be fun to talk about one of the new projects that Mantic's got going on. It's on its way to Kickstarter, I believe, and that is their new terrain crate line.
Yay, more terrain!
Specifically, they are doing sci-fi trees.
Sci-fi trees.
So
alien planets.
Terrain crate volume tree.
Which is what we were doing, 2 years ago?
A little bit, yeah.
That's so awesome to finally have product to do that with.
Right, exactly.
Instead of foam things.
we've long been proponents of really having a diverse type of gameplay.
Kind of that living world.
Yeah.
Where it's not necessarily always a city.
Right. To include those more organic and natural shaped things.
Yeah, definitely.
I know I've had a cardboard based tree project that my wife continues to ask me why I have all this cardboard if I'm not doing anything with it.
Well, you know.
But it's like the perfect size to be like little steps to make like a tree trunk. So it's big trees. Like,
big trees.
Like
giant trees.
Like Wookiees and Ewoks and stuff.
Oh.
Like, yeah.
Like California-sized trees.
Like a Yindage style forest.
Yindage, Rebs.
But can you imagine it? Like a big treescape where you have bridges and stuff going between the trees.
That would be pretty cool. Because, with the bridges, you could easily do them cube size.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I'd play on that board.
Yeah. And then you can do that other project that I never quite finished, which is the elevated one. So the floor is lava.
The floor is lava.
If you fall off it, you potentially just die. If you get knocked off the platforms.
Dead.
Yeah, I like that idea. But yeah, so Terrain Crate Volume 3.
Yes.
I love the pun, and they're doing it.
It's perfect.
And so, like, for those that didn't see, Ronnie did demo this some on, because it was a Mantic Day event.
Yes, it was.
Over in the UK. And
those lucky boys.
Yeah. But he showcased, like, what they're doing with it. And it's modular style trees where you have a base, and then you can have, like, a middle section and a topper.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. And so they can be, I believe they're even fitted 4 magnets, or they click into place nicely.
Very nice.
But so you can build these trees to be a wide variety of shapes and styles.
Build a tree instead of build a bear.
Yeah, exactly. With that, and I forget if this is also part of the Terrain Crate, but he did showcase that they're coming out with little like the neoprene mat sections. So basically your forest, right?
Yeah.
You have then kind of a space.
Oh, so
that
you
it occupies.
have, for like Kings of War, when you're moving, you can take the tree off and it's still there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But these would be neoprene, so that nice kind of mouse feel
Yeah.
to them. And a big part of that was to make it so that the trees kind of feel more at home when they're just on that space.
Yeah, instead of just having trees sitting on the ground.
And
where it's completely different around them.
And further establishes, like, one thing he was pointing out is, like, it further establishes where the boundary of some of these things are.
Yep.
So that, for those games where that type of rule
matters.
thing is important, it's like, okay, am I clipping through this forest?
Are you clipping through the forest? Are you actually fully in the forest?
Exactly.
Or are you only partially there?
Yep.
Yep.
And then with that, again, this might be just a separate line that they're doing, but all kind of bundling it and to roll it out. They're doing more big neoprene game mats.
Yay!
So
we like neoprene
sci-fi
game mats.
ones and fantasy ones. Like
we need some sci-fi ones for Firefight.
We do. And I'm excited to get some more.
Yeah.
So Mantic makes really good terrain projects.
Yes, they do.
Yes. So we have that to look forward to. We don't have any announcement on when it's coming out to Kickstarter yet. I think it's next year, early next year.
As soon as we find out, we'll let you know, though.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, admitted it'll be out there.
Yeah.
It'll be out there for like a week or two and be like, oh yeah, we should probably tell everybody that.
We should probably tell everybody that. Hey gang, Editor Brian here, fixing it in post. Terrain Crate Volume 3 actually went live on November 21st, basically 3 or 4 days after we recorded, and is going to be going to December 6th. So if you haven't checked it out yet, get on that as soon as you can. That's what happens when you're a monthly podcast.
Well, yeah, but we have fun doing it.
And so, kind of coupled with that, Ronnie gave some feedback and insight on what his goal and projects are for Firefight going forward. And it sounds like one thing that he'd like to do to really kind of help differentiate the game from some of the other ones out there is to go heavy on mechanized combat.
Which I love because he wants to go heavy on tanks.
Yeah,
and everybody's giving him grief about that.
Specifically saying tanks.
He's saying tanks.
And
my first thought was, okay, give me a tank for my enforcers.
Yeah.
Give me a tank.
Tanks for the Enforcers, tanks for the GCPS. Maybe.
Yeah, they're Lancer.
It's not. We weren't able to get that spoiler
Deep
out
into
of
it,
him.
yeah.
But that's going to be something that we get more details out. He did talk about having bundled kits that you can get, basically.
Yeah, he also mentioned a little bit about STL upgrades.
He did mention STL upgrades.
STL upgrades. Now, I mean, we don't know because, well, it's Ronnie. So it depends on what time of night you get him.
Yeah.
On how much information they actually really got. Because it sounds to me like the STL upgrades could potentially be across all the games.
Yes. And that really would be, personally, I think a really good step in the right direction.
Yes, definitely.
Especially with, I know he did talk a little briefly about some of the challenges of doing the resin projects and everything like that. It is an expensive thing, and I should probably mute my phone.
Is that yours or mine?
Yeah, it's
because I didn't mute my phone before I went live over there.
Yeah, but I think yours is probably fine.
It's making noise. I can see it. Every time I see some kind of notification go across, I was like, I probably should have muted.
Maybe people liked our post.
Sure.
And they're joining us live.
They are. Well, some of them.
Probably.
Anyways.
Hi, guys.
Hi.
But to circle back, so like the resin thing, like it's great that they're doing that in house. But it's also something you really do recognize. It is an expensive undertaking for them.
Oh sure.
Especially to the volume that they're having to manufacture at. So offloading some of those smaller pieces that
the add-ons, really.
Add-ons, yeah.
Because when you get that leader model in resin, in Mantic resin, which I love Mantic's resin.
Yes.
But the idea is you get it with a base set of pieces, and then you can release an STL to make that leader a lord versus a commander, which is perfect. It's like taking your Rebs leader and printing off like a sniper rifle to make it a sniper or some random Reb thing. Or like, taking a grunt bot and giving it new weapons.
Exactly.
Which I would love personally.
or even maybe replacing some of the metal things.
Like the Ajax Strider.
The Ajax Strider.
Would love a lighter shield.
The heavy burst laser for the Strider.
Yep, the heavy burst laser
would be another great candidate because that is it's the base unit to take it with that. And I won't lie, I love the Strider, but
you put that burst laser on it, it's a weapon.
The reason why I did it, it's all 100% Mantic, but mine's a custom burst laser because it's plastic rather than the metal thing that you'd have to lug around.
Yeah.
Also, it would be impossible to magnetize that.
Yeah, pretty much.
So definitely looking forward to Mantic dipping their toes into that. Stipping their toes.
Stipping?
Yes, it's like dipping and stepping.
Stipping.
So it's like you get more of a foot. I guess.
We are stipping into STLs.
Yes.
Okay. Sure.
Hashtag stipping.
Hashtag stipping. That's ours.
Yes.
Hey, this is Community Pat, and you're listening to Deadzone, the podcast with Rick and Brian.
All right. So to circle back to the vehicle thing, so Ronnie wants to see those battles where it's like 6 tanks per side.
Yeah.
That could be really cool. I don't know if the current rule set is quite set for that level of vehicle mayhem.
No, but he also said the rules committee is already working on it.
Yeah.
And hopefully they'll have something for him soon.
It could be a really fun variant. Because the thing that was crossing my mind is the amount of models you have to have in support of that for list building
for
purposes.
List building, sure.
Because it's you need 2 troop units for every vehicle.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, and
most of them,
it could also be just second edition Deadzone where they released the what is it? No. AS rules. Artificial stupid.
The artificial stupid rules.
Artificial stupid. But there was a whole way to play that.
Yeah.
With specific lists and everything that you could modify, but just inside that boundary.
Right. Oh, so you're talking about the elite list.
Yeah, the elite list, those expansions all had that separate piece to it on how you played. The Firefight could easily use that with a battle of tanks.
Yeah.
Now, admitted, thinking about it, 6 Striders really isn't that much.
Not for us.
Not for us.
And it is that thing, like, looking at the list that I currently have for my GCPS, which is like around 1,800 points. Yeah. The 1,000 point one, I'm rolling 2 Striders, the Hornet, and the Mule, like 1 Mule. So that's 4.
That's already 4.
I'm
You'd just be adding 2 more. Yeah.
So
we'll see how it goes.
At 1,500 points, it actually wouldn't be that unrealistic to have around 6 vehicles per side, or mechanized units.
Mechanized units, yeah.
Yeah.
That's why we all need tanks.
Yes. More tanks. All right. So some other things that have come up is that we have the Mantic Companion App launched.
Yes.
So that was for those that aren't familiar, is that they've kind of replaced the Easy Army application. That was like a third-party project that they had somebody working on, and it's something where it's like to keep pace with how quickly things change.
Yeah.
With Mantic rules across all their games, it just kind of made more sense for that to become more of an in-house project.
In-house project. Yep. More control.
Yep. And Elliot Barrett.
Yep.
Has been kind of spearheading this project. He's actually been working on it quite a long time. For those that are unaware.
Yeah.
So like this has actually been an app we've played around with. I think which tournament did I did it for my tournament, I think back in June.
Yep.
And Bastion, and played around with it because he has a built-in tournament setting.
Yep.
But now it's really fleshed out. Like now. You got Deadzone, Firefight, Kings of War are all in there. They have like the entire rule set.
Yeah, the entire rule library for all of those games, which is super helpful. Personally, I like having the hard book to hold on to. But at the same time, as much as I like having that book, I also love having digital access to things.
being able to like. Oh, I'm on my break at work. Being able to just like flip open
I'm stuck in the car for 2 hours. Oh yeah, here we go.
As opposed to like hauling those books around you. All the time.
Yes.
Which some people might frown on, but now you have it in your pocket.
I mean, I have all my Deadzone books in the car, so I can't really say much.
We're bad examples of this, but other people might. Get frowns.
Other people like having
odd
just
books.
that.
And so with that, there's also list building worked into the app, and so that's been getting fleshed out. It is kind of in a beta stage at the time of this recording, and is probably going to be so going on till I think January.
So are you going to use it for December 11th?
I am going to be using it for December 11th.
Guess what? There's a tournament on December 11th.
Yes.
Just for the record, guys.
Yes, getting one more Deadzone tournament in just under the wire to...
I don't know what that notification was. That was a really big notification.
It was probably important. But
it was a TikTok one.
We're going to keep going.
This is so weird.
Doing it live is really strange for us.
Yeah, it's
technology, man. But yes, so we're having a Deadzone tournament.
Yeah.
Coming up here. It's going to be at Upkeep Games in Howell, Michigan. Really fantastic store. We've done a number of events with them in the past.
It is such a cool layout.
They are just so wonderful for us, and so we're doing a four game 175 point Deadzone.
Because that's what Deadzone the podcast does. Is 175.
And Deadzone the podcast is sponsoring this event, so that's why we're talking about it more.
Sure, it makes sense to me.
Yeah, and with that, so we're going to have a little bit of an icy theme to it because it'll be December in Michigan, which means get ready for snow.
Put the top down?
Well, Rick's from Alaska, so so there's a little difference there.
I so almost put the top down today.
It was snowing today, guys.
Yeah, snowing is a thing.
Yeah.
Technically our first snow, really.
Yeah, it was. And it's just kind of a dusting. But this battlefield will have a little bit more than dusting, because the concept we're going with is that the Frozen Earth is the subtitle for the event.
The Frozen Earth.
And so we're going to be scattering a lot of different little goodies that are like ice, glaciers, and things like that to decorate the battlefield of a world that has been taken over by the frost.
Taken over by the frost. So are we trying to restart the Earth? Or whatever planet this is?
Some people might. Others might just be like, hey, this planet, it used to be a big metropolis, but now it's frozen. Everyone
Those dirty
had to
rebs
flee.
are going to show up and try and dig through the ice to get all their loot. Whatever.
Get all their stuff out. The Veermen maybe had nests that were very deep in the earth, and they're still there.
They're all sleeping.
Right? So there's so many like fun ways we can go with that.
Yep, exactly.
And so that's kind of the theme.
The theme.
of
We like
the
themes.
Deadzone tournament. We're playing around with some kind of supplemental rules that might come into play.
Yeah.
Might,
But nothing over the top.
Nothing over the top. Like we were always, as much fun as we have like coming up with games for ourselves.
For ourselves, when it comes to a tournament setting, we like to try and keep that
pretty balanced
across the board.
and not too game changing.
Yeah.
Like we don't. We try to keep ourselves from like making things that really change the mechanics of the game. Or
like a dice roll every cube you step into, see if you fall through the ice. As fun as that would be for us.
That would be really fun.
It doesn't necessarily work in a tournament setting.
Or like if you sprint, you have to roll to see if you go
sliding by.
Sliding into the next cube.
Get an extra 2 cubes on your movement.
I mean, I did play around with that for a Dreadball tournament once. So we have fun. But so with that, to kind of circle back to the companion app.
This is why he keeps everything noted.
I gotta keep us on track. So you guys seen it live. I've got my notes.
Sometimes I do it on purpose, but most of the time it's like it just kind of happens that we go off rails.
And that's why my interstitial like commercial breaks are just seemingly random. I barely make it between topics before I have to throw it in.
Before you have to throw one in there, it's like, oh yeah, we need a commercial. So
the companion app is like free right now. They're doing a kind of a trial period.
And if you had paid for Easy Army, there's multiple different codes.
Yeah.
There's one for Easy Army. There's one for the blog.
Yeah, there was a blog one. That was basically a special for the blog one.
Yep, and then there's... Oh, shoot. I don't remember. My tablet's way over there.
Yeah, I don't recall what the third one was either.
We'll come back to that because...
It could just be a general one. It's like
it might
to get you in. And so, kind of with that, with you have the ability to, like we said, look at all the rules, build lists, save them out. You can submit them to tournament and events. So if you're a TO and you haven't checked it out yet, I definitely recommend diving into it, kind of learn how things are going. There's been some great feedback threads on Facebook currently, but they also have a route to get it send in feedback via email. So we're kind of getting through some of the bugs where there's like general like errors where you kind of miss something, but also a lot of functionality feedback. There's some things that are different in the companion app versus Easy Army.
Yep.
Some things worked better in Easy Army than they do in the companion app so far. I think the companion app does a lot of great things itself that Easy Army didn't do, and so it's going to be something that continues to evolve and grow. And I do give mad props to Elliot for all of his hard work on this project.
Yeah.
Like he's been on all those feedback threads. He's intaking the
and
feedback.
he's quick to respond on emails too.
He's very
just
he's
just for the fact. So I've been trying, like day one when it came out, I jumped on, I subscribed, I'm set to go.
Yeah.
I took a little glance at a couple of things and then I had to get back to work.
Yeah.
Since then, I haven't been able to get back on it. But he is working on it. He's been communicating with me constantly, and I really appreciate that. So hopefully soon I'll be able to get back on it.
Yeah, we'll get you on there. And I will say, like, it is something where, you know, I have a background in development.
Yep.
So I'm very familiar with what goes into these kind of projects. And I don't really envy you, Elliot, because this is a big project.
This is a pretty big one.
to be tackling it solo, but you've been handling it with great grace and poise from a customer service standpoint as well. And I know that's not always easy to take that feedback. So very much, you know, you can be honest with him, and he will take that into consideration when they start rolling out changes. I think it's bug fixing first, make sure people can get in and start using it, get those corrections in place that need to be in there, and then it's going to be the new features rolling out, because they are going to be coming out with Armada on the platform as well.
Give me ships.
Vanguard is on the docket as well, kind of down the road. And there's going to be an offline version. Like right now.
Very nice. I love the idea of an offline, because my in-laws, I have no signal.
Yeah, and I'm in here and I don't have my Wi-Fi on my tablet yet. So.
Yeah, I'm eating through mine right now. So obviously this is going to be more for the guys over there on TikTok.
Yeah.
The codes right now are for the newsletter subscribers, Easy Army subscribers, TWW users.
So those were the old users for before it became the Mantic Companion App.
Oh,
That's
okay.
What that is. Yeah.
Okay, got it. And then for everyone else, there's a code for each of those. And you're looking at, like, if you only play Deadzone, I mean, it's $3.99 a month.
Yeah.
We're kind of nerds. I mean, you pay $60, you get it for the entire year for everything.
Yeah.
Which, when it comes to value, everything that here, so, like, even if you don't do a lot of list building, $60 for the year to have access to all of the rules.
Yes.
For all of these games.
For all the rules, for all the games, the list builder, there's Math Hammer in there.
I will never touch that.
Admittedly, I just believe in the heart of the dice. I'm very Yu-Gi-Oh about this whenever I play games. It doesn't always help. It doesn't always work. But I still believe. But then there's also like I said, there's the tournament component.
Yeah.
There's going to be rankings between the games for the tournaments.
Oh.
Yeah, that's in there. So one thing I stumbled on the other day was when you're building a list, there's list history. Now, you might just think that's just the change to your list.
That's your old list.
You can track wins and losses against whomever for your list. So your list can literally be like your team.
Your team's best list that you've played.
Yes.
Well, that's rough.
And just like its record against who and what. And I'm like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is.
I'm going to get a lot of use out of that. In fact, I updated it the other day when I played Scott at Deadzone.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, and it was GCPS versus Enforcers, just kind of hanging out in my basement, and so it was kind of my typical Gundam list as that.
Yep.
But I did change it up for the second game. So the first game I think I played what is essentially my ringer list.
See, here we go. We completely switched. Now we're talking about hobby.
Yeah. These topics go from one to the other smoothly.
Sure.
That's what we call a transition. We have fun on the show.
Maybe a little.
So and he was trying out a more Pathfinder heavy list with a lot of kind of extra ammo to.
So with Pathfinders, what does he think about the 3rd edition Pathfinder rules with the tag rifles and everything?
So he's coming into 3rd edition first before 2nd edition, and so he really likes it. Like he's got he brought 4 Pathfinders total. One was a sniper and one was the leader.
Yeah.
But so he had access to the splat. That's the extra dice or the 3 dice, the way to fire.
Yep.
And it was something where he's like kind of going back and forth on a couple of rolls where it's like, do I go for the extra dice or do I go for expecting to miss a lot and get those rerolls? And so it was a good dynamic for him, and he learned a lot in that first game. In fact, the second game he beat me, so I won the first game, he won the second, which I'm always about. Like that's
a perfect day.
And he didn't change his list.
Oh, okay.
Mine changed a little bit, and
did you decide the Gundams weren't good enough?
I kept the Gundam in. I almost.
Of course you did.
So it's funny because I did I'm gonna build something different that I haven't played as much, and it was kind of a Ranger heavy list with a couple different weapon loadouts and stuff, and I'm like, I was just about to start getting them all out, and I'm like, I gotta have a Gundam.
It's a Brian staple.
So I took out a couple of things and put the Gundam back in. But the thing I was trying with that list was kind of sparked by comments that was going on in the the Deadzone kind of testers Facebook group, which was Ian. I'm pretty sure it was Ian.
Yeah, it was Ian.
Posted it out there is like, okay, tell us what's your auto include.
What's your auto include? What's your auto not include?
What's your I avoid this like the plague.
Like the plague.
And it, we both commented on it. We were both like, we're kind of the bad examples of this
because we'll take literally anything
because we'll try stuff. And for me, I left my comments on Rebs and GCPS, and for GCPS, I was like, I really don't take a lot of weapons teams, and I don't take the medic often.
Which I said the same thing too about my Marauders is I don't really take the weapons teams very often. Mm-hmm. That one was totally me.
That was your okay.
That's funny.
Like, how is my phone still making audio?
Because these mics pick up everything.
I guess they do. And so yeah, that was kind of the idea was taking the things that are different. Let me circle back. So for the weapons teams, I did go with the mortar. But in my thought process, I'm like, it's just kind of a hard sell for me on the different weapons teams for the GCPS.
So the GCPS, they have the mortar, the rocket launcher, and the burst laser?
They have the heavy burst laser for HMG.
Yeah.
And then they also have a big armor piercing one. So,
they have the two different ones. And I think pretty much all of them have it.
So one is like the heavy burst laser, and one is the heavy rifle.
Yeah.
Heavy laser rifle. Or laser cannon. And so basically it is kind of the tried and true is like, okay, you have the HMG, you've got high armor piercing, you have directional fire with blast, and then you have indirect 4.
Yeah.
And so the mortar is the one you typically see.
I mean, the mortar is across the board one of the best things to have.
Yeah. Especially
unless you're playing against the
board.
Asterians. Unless you're playing against the Asterians. Mortar is useless.
Yeah. Since they can't knock them around as much.
Yeah, Constricts say nope, don't care.
But so I took that and I took a medic. Which was the other unit that I'm like, GCPS are a fairly squishy force.
They are.
So having something to, having a unit that is now higher HP, it made sense to stick him in there. What's kind of funny, because he also does give you Resilient 1 to anybody that's in the queue with him. So since my mortar team was just kind of hanging back in the background anyway, I sent my medic out with a ranger buddy.
Yeah.
And the pair of them stuck together through most of the game, saving one another.
So you got a lot of use out of the medic.
I actually got a lot of use out of him because
that's sweet.
He targeted the medic.
Yep.
Who also had Resilient 1.
Okay.
And so it was, the medic would take a wound and go prone because it was a HMG that was shooting at him. And then so he would stand up and heal thyself.
What's up, everyone? I'm Andrew.
And I'm Coach.
From FamilyOfGamers777 on YouTube.
And you are listening to Deadzone the Podcast with Rick and Brian.
Do you think they'll be upset that our audio is better than theirs?
Nah. Rick will probably just laugh it off. Told you.
And so I'm realizing I probably didn't turn off the other two microphones in the room.
That would explain what... See, this is why we're really good at this whole new tech stuff.
We're doing it live.
We're doing it.
That's why.
That sounds... Yep.
That's why we were picking up the
We were
sound
picking
effects
up
from your
my
phone.
phone.
Because the mic's on that
We don't
side
know what
and
we're
fixing-
doing. We've been doing this for 4 years, and we still don't know what we're doing.
To be fair, new tech.
Yeah, all new. I mean, technically, that's new, too.
Yeah. So yeah, it was a really fun time.
Yeah.
That we got those games in, and I actually have another game probably lined up this Saturday, assuming that my refrigerator comes in a timely fashion.
I am hoping that your refrigerator comes in a timely manner.
Because we have a new guy that just moved in.
All of the new guys are in Detroit market.
3 miles from where I live.
Oh, wow.
So Scott's actually between us.
Yeah.
So he's south of Pandemonium. A guy named Chris. And
Right on.
and so he just finished moving in. He's unpacked and he's like, "Hey guys, anybody want to get a game in this weekend?" I'm like,
Yes.
To welcome me to the group, I'm like, "Hi, hon, can I?" And she said
Hi,
yes.
hon.
So
Yes.
so I'm gonna see about getting a quick game of Deadzone in. He's also into Firefight and
Perfect.
Kings of War and stuff like
Well,
that.
that's cool.
So it's good for the group down there.
Yes.
Um,
You guys have an incredibly active Discord, by the way.
yes.
Like, so I'm on a lot of different Discord channels. The top 2 Discord channels for me right now is your guys' Discord and my high school D&D group's Discord.
And I won't lie, it's actually been, sorry, Dead's on the podcast Discord.
Yeah.
This group has actually been has gotten me more active in Discord because of how
Yeah.
much they're talking with one another. They're asking questions about list builds and stuff.
Yep.
And what to play and a lot of their hobby. So that it's a lot of painting and really good camaraderie stuff. And it's continued
Yes.
to grow. I think Scott was even talking the other day. Is we started off where it was just kind of four of us kind of in the
Yep.
area, and it's grown. It's doubled in size.
Yep.
So there's 8 of them in this group now, and we're going to be coming to Howl
Taking over Owl.
to win that Deadzone event.
You say that.
Yeah. So you got to rally.
You say that.
You got to rally the mid-Michigan.
But I know for a
groups.
fact the Asterians are coming.
I do know Nick Shulhanick is going to.
And
be
that's
there.
the Lansing crew.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
So, and I think Adam was going to be joining us too, or he said
Right on.
he was going to be coming. So
Right on.
that'd be great to see him. It's been a while.
A little representation from Mount Pleasant.
Yeah. And the weekend before is they got the Kings
I'm
of
going to
War.
say they have a
event.
huge Kings of War event the weekend before
Yeah,
that.
they got. I think they just locked in their last player for 10 tables. So yeah, it's we're trying to do a few more smaller events as
Yeah.
opposed to the bigger, the big convention events.
Yep.
With that, so to kind of talk a little bit more into the future, we are planning to do a firefight event in first quarter of 2023.
Probably in Howell again.
Yeah, probably in Howl again.
Because that's kind of that.
It's a great middle ground for all
Perfect,
of our players. It's essentially 45 minutes for most of them.
Yep.
Yeah, it's really looking forward to that. We do want to get some more firefight.
Yeah,
going.
because the only way Firefight's going to grow is if people get out and play it.
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of us that are basement players. I mean, you and myself, we have
literally
gaming.
just played in the basement.
You literally just played in the basement. Friday, I was playing games in my basement because we're set up for that.
Yeah.
But the only way we're going to be able to build a game like Firefight into something that we all want to see, because I would love to see new models come out for. See, you turn off those mic and it's picking up my phone from all the way over there. That's so awesome.
Your phone is like you, Rick. It's really loud.
Shh. Sorry, I'll be quiet.
No, it's all right.
Okay. Anyway,
I'll fix it in post.
fix it in post. Not for you.
Not for you guys.
But getting out and playing the game. Like going to your local store. And I know sometimes it's tough. It's very tough to be those guys playing that game that nobody else is playing. But if you love the game, play it.
Yeah.
Because you're eventually going to get that guy to go,
That looks
That's
like
a-
a lot of fun.
pretty awesome looking vehicle. Is that Space Marines? Oh no.
Oh, no.
This is the Enforcer's Interceptor. It demolishes all rhinos.
I mean, all those Forge Father vehicles are going to catch somebody's eye.
Oh, 100%.
The Asterian stuff is all super unique looking.
Yes.
Like,
That's the thing. I mean, you get it out on the table.
they have to see it.
They have to see it. I mean, play your game in the basement.
Yeah.
But every now and then, take a time, take a day, go play at least a game in your local store. Because somebody's going to see it.
Yeah.
Especially if you have that labor of love that we've seen on the Fanatic sites for scenery. Because no other game has scenery like the Warpath universe.
No.
Like, you go to a 40K table, usually it's a couple cardboard buildings.
Yeah.
I mean, they've upgraded. People are 3D printing and stuff, but it's the same thing. It literally looks the same.
Yeah.
Every single table looks the exact same, which is fine for a tournament setting.
Yeah.
But when you go in a local store, you don't want to see the same thing, right?
Right.
With the Warpath universe, whether you're at a tournament, a convention, or just in your basement, the scenery is always so huge. Especially when you start throwing in things like uncertain scenery.
Yeah.
The Kickstarter we did.
The Tycho Starport.
Tycho Starport. You start throwing that stuff in there on top of Mantic's amazing sci-fi scenery. Every single table is different, and it's going to catch people's eyes. Just play the game.
And a lot of that stuff we just read off all looks really good together.
Yes.
Too. It still looks like they belong in the same space.
People need to definitely jump on Facebook and look at your pictures, because your boards from this weekend are amazing.
Oh, thanks.
Like, they really are, man. Like, your color scheme, everything matches, and like that looks like that village that, you know, the Rebs are trying to take over.
Yes, or liberate.
They're not liberating anything. The Marauders liberated the Rebs.
From their money.
Not the Marauders.
And resources.
Well, maybe their resources. But not their money.
They gotta get paid. They're mercenaries.
Not all of them.
Yeah. So I am still working on my Marauder story for the next writing contest.
Yep.
We'll have to see. I haven't the proverbial pen has not touched paper yet.
But the ideas are there.
But the ideas are there.
All right.
And I won't lie. So the little tidbits I can share right now. We're looking at space battles.
Yay.
With grunt bots.
I love grunt bots.
As sending them through space to
to
board other ships. Because that's what you would do with goblins and mechanized.
You totally do that with goblins. Just chuck them.
It's a great plan.
Yes.
And that's probably a quote from the story. We'll see.
It's a great plan.
This is a great plan. But yeah, so man, that's a lot of stuff already.
Yeah.
I will say, so some quick corrections to circle back to stuff we have said on the air that may have been an error. So Ian was kind enough to point out when we were talking about your nameless list in particular, in a previous episode, that so there is the rule now where equipment, so items that you get as part of your team's loadout cannot be dropped on the floor. And kind of with that, it means when they die, they're not left behind. But it also means that you can't hand them off.
Correct.
Because you would have to drop it off, and then the other guy would have to pick it up as part of an advance.
Yeah.
So it was a correction. I think in second edition it was a little different.
Okay.
And so that is
just trying to figure out what list I was talking about with that.
The nameless, because you were giving I think your scuttlers smoke grenades.
Oh yeah.
So you could like
Yeah.
You were just like nuking the battlefield with smoke.
Yep.
So,
Cool.
So that's just a quick correction. We want to make sure
When they die,
get
they
that
take
out
their
there.
item with them.
Yes. When you die, you take your equipment with you.
That works.
Yeah. And so another quick one this one came from Page Neo when we were talking about the Asterian shields in Firefight.
Yeah.
They in one of the previous episodes. We kind of mentioned we were feeling that it was a little overpowered, and it might have been something where we just kind of misspoke. And I'd have to go back to see if we were interpreting the rule correctly.
Okay.
But it's that the shields are drained as part of hits, not as part of wounds.
Oh.
So your initial hits
Okay.
pitter patter
Okay.
against the shields, which can reduce them, I think, a little bit more quickly than we maybe were
Yeah, they
interpreting
really
it.
can.
It still can suck up a lot of those
Well,
dice.
yeah, it's still
'cause-
gonna suck up. They're shields.
Yeah,
But that does, like, from a shield perspective, that makes a lot more sense.
yeah. So thank you for pointing that out, Paige.
Thank you.
And going back to that, I still do kind of stand by our thoughts on how that can regenerate. Because it, like I said in that episode, a big part of the other abilities that regenerate health, and the shields are kind of like a pseudo health.
Yep.
A lot of them are dice based, and so making that a roll of some kind, whether it's you're rolling a D2 or a D4,
Yep.
to regenerate that, you're always guaranteed one shield regenerates with that ability then.
Yeah.
Or something along those lines. So.
But you got to be careful with that, because then you get into multiple different dice.
Well, it's a D8, and it's
do a D8.
a D2 is odds and evens,
Oh yeah, I'm special today.
and a D4 is you divide in half.
I'm special today. I didn't even think about D2 and divide it to whatever.
So we have fun here, but it
Yeah.
goes to show, like, that was always the thing for me with Mantic games, with their rule sets and things like their dice, like. They're multi-purpose. Like you can get so much utility out of a D8.
You really
I love
can.
that dice. But yeah, so I think apart from that, wanted to talk a little bit about projects that you got going on that we started last time.
Yes.
So we're kind of doing this a little bit in lieu of our list building challenge, since we're literally building some of the stuff.
Yep.
So Rick, what is
Salamander Enforcers.
the Salamander Enforcers? How many of those guys been coming along?
So I finally I got together a couple test models. I shot you pictures of them.
Yeah.
And I'll get some better pictures and send them out. So with one of them, because the salamanders are kind of like a large part is all together.
Yeah.
Like
their torso
Their
and
torso,
legs.
their legs, the tail, all of that is one.
Yeah.
So
Oh, the tail is too.
yeah, so my idea of taking the tail and the head and putting it all on there just didn't work. So I had to do some clipping.
Yeah.
So I tried two different versions. I tried doing the Enforcer chest and body piece on a salamander, and then I hacked the slashed completely apart the legs and tail off of one, and did the tail and the head on one Enforcer. I like the tail and the head.
Yeah.
And to be fair, the salamander heads are definitely misproportioned to the size,
little bit.
but I love that because it reminds me of a lizard.
Yeah.
Because a lot of lizards have large heads, and their body is not really that big.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I've got a couple of them assembled. I'm not sure what I'm going to paint them.
What if you painted them like your bearded dragons?
That's what I was actually thinking. Because Phoenix very much so has some red and orange in him. Ash has that traditional kind of green tan,
Sure.
rocky look.
Yeah.
Nothing really jumps out on her.
Like a desert-y.
Yeah, but Phoenix definitely has those reds and orange that pop. Like just behind his, I guess they're ears. They're not ears.
Frills?
They're not ears.
Yeah. They're
but
not ears.
but they're holes. But just behind there in his gills area, he's super bright orange.
Okay.
And then he's got orange sporadically throughout his whole body, and a little bit of red too.
Yeah.
So I was playing with that. I've been looking at pictures I've taken of Phoenix, and I'm like, it's gonna be tough, but I can do that.
It could be kind of fun.
And then just do like that typical bluish gray armor.
Yeah.
For the enforcer part of it.
So your kind of story behind how they got to this stage. Have you kind of put some thought into that?
It has to do with Maison Labs.
Oh, you don't say.
Yeah. Maison Labs kind of had an experiment go awire.
Yeah.
To the fact that they're
just one.
just one. Yeah, look, some people break a few eggs. This group has only broken one.
I mean, but that video with Rob had like he had like 4 sets of goggles on. That's got to be
that's a different.
That's a different branch.
Yes.
Okay.
That's a branch on a different planet. Like
and
this group,
United King Planet.
United King Planet. So no, they were trying to experimenting because they found this planet that had a lot of reptilian dinosaur kind of things going on.
Sure.
Like
you do.
Yeah. No, like intelligent.
Sure.
At least that they thought.
But ferocious.
Yeah, and they wanted to see if they can incorporate that with some of their successful plague victims.
Successful plague victims.
They're very easily controlled.
The live people.
No,
can see
they're
air quotes around that.
The plague victims like do what they're told.
Okay.
It's a successful project. It worked.
When you change the requirements for success.
Well, it still works.
When the bar keeps getting lower and lower.
So, anyways, they tried to splice the genes and do all that fun stuff. Well, there was an accident.
Oh, no. Is OSHA involved?
Sorta.
Space OSHA?
The corporate Marines that were brought in suck. They couldn't contain anything. So a favor was called into the 7 to bring in some elite enforcers.
Like you do.
Because they take care of everything. That is work calling me.
Do you need to take a pause?
I need to pause and take that call.
All right. Sorry, you guys live. Those on the recording will be perfectly fine.
This is Kevin Riddle, and you're listening to Deadzone the podcast. That's right, Riddle. Not relay, not Reedla, not Rydell, not Riddell. Riddle. Just like it's spelled.
Just finishing up talking about how the Council of 7...
Oh, they sit in the enforcers.
Yeah.
It didn't work.
No.
The enforcers didn't contact home base like they're supposed to.
Oh, dear.
Yeah. So that's where there will be some salamander enforcers ripping through, potentially on the 11th.
That could be really fun. I'm looking forward to this.
I don't know. I honestly don't know if I'll have them done by then.
Yeah.
Because this is one of those. This is one of those lists where it's what we do with lists. I mean, it's just for fun.
Yeah.
But I also don't want to play this list until it's painted.
Right.
Until it's completely done.
Yeah.
Because I've been kind of thinking, because I think I want to put a jet bike in it.
Ooh.
But not like an actual jet bike.
Would it have like pterodactyl wings?
Exactly. Like,
and a jet engine.
Well, no, I mean, like actually having a flying salamander with a salamander enforcer on top of it.
With like guns. Like the
mounted.
The gun pod underneath. That'd be so cool.
Total dinosaurs.
Yes.
I might have drawn some inspiration from dinosaurs because I love that cartoon.
We've been saying for a while now, like space dinosaurs.
It's a thing.
Is something that I think would be really fun for another faction.
Yes.
Though I think the one-page rules guys might have jumped on that.
Well, sure they did.
But they do what they want.
They're one-page rules.
They're one-page rules. But yeah, so that's really cool.
Yes.
I'm excited to see how those guys turn out.
I mean, I got other things going on too. So
Yeah.
I haven't really. So I've only gotten like in October. I only got like 2 Deadzone games in.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I've taken on this D&D group.
Yeah.
And of course, October is also the busiest month of the
Right.
year for work for me.
Yeah.
Now that we're into November, though, I mean, this will be at the end of November.
This will come out at the end of November. We're kind of in the middle of it.
Yeah, so hopefully I'll have a little bit more time to play some games.
Yeah. For me, it's kind of been fun because with it being football season.
Yes, you've gotten a lot of work done.
I have been working a lot on my Northern Alliance for
Yeah.
Kings of War Ambush specifically, but we'll see if I can keep the momentum going to actually build out a full Kings of War list. So I'll have 2 playable factions.
2?
Elves and Northern Alliance.
Woo!
And I just got a whole bunch of snow trolls by trade.
Nice.
I mean, I probably have a good 30 of them.
Holy cow.
Like, it's a lot.
Like, holy troll.
Yeah.
What? That's a lot of trolls.
That's a lot of trolls. And you only need, like, 3 in a regiment or 6 in a horde. So I've got trolls for days.
Trolls for days.
So I'll probably, like, I'm sure I'm going to have a bunch that are just, like, I'm going to start doing other projects with them. Maybe they'll see some action in a Rebs list as a stand-in for, like, a Simian Brawler, maybe. They do look like giant monkeys, kind of.
Simian brawlers, go away.
They're a little big,
They need
though.
to go away.
They're a little tall. They're kind of a size 4 scale monster, so
Yeah, they kind of are.
we'll figure that out.
Give them a trim and a haircut.
a trim and a haircut.
Too big.
Yep. I don't know the song well.
Go watch Roger Rabbit.
It's been a while. But apart from my fantasy stuff, and I'm going to try to keep the momentum going painting-wise on that project.
Which is awesome. To be fair, that's a great way to do it.
Yeah. I've found, for those that maybe kind of struggle with the same thing I do, which is
Finding a number.
painting a massive number of guys, because, like, hordes in Kings of War are like 30 models, typically, or...
Try playing Undead sometime.
Pat's calling me.
What?
I'll call you back in a second, Pat.
Yeah.
Or it'll be my turn to take a
I
break.
would say, if that's Pat, take it while we're online.
Here, let me get
Yeah, do it.
Quick call back.
Hello?
Hey, Pat. Sorry.
Hey, Pat, how's it going?
No worries, man. Sorry to bother you.
Oh, no worries.
We're recording the Deadzone podcast.
Oh, great.
So you don't have to be on the air if you don't want to be, but you're otherwise on the air.
I just got to talk some business, so
Sure.
this probably shouldn't go on online.
No worries.
Yep, hold on. We're going to hit the button,
Yep.
and you're good.
Okay?
All right. Thanks, Pat.
All right, guys.
Have a good one.
Yep. Talk to you
All right,
later.
talk to you guys later. Bye.
Bye.
So you totally got to keep some of that on there.
Beep, bop, boop. And we're back.
And we're back. This has been quite the night.
Yeah. Getting a lot of phone calls. We are popular
We
people.
usually don't get phone calls, but like, seriously,
Yeah.
like, not even text. Generally,
No.
for some reason, every time we record, it's random, like, junk email
Yeah.
is the only thing that hits my phone.
Yeah.
But like tonight, it's everything.
Yep.
It's all good.
It's all good. So as to kind of wrap up, so one of the other projects that I started on for this time is I've been talking about it a couple times. I wanted to get through Star Saga.
Yes.
So I've started up doing the Arius contract solo. I'm using the recommended lists for mercenaries and loadout.
Okay.
So
you're going straight out of the book on everything.
I'm going straight out of the book. It just kind of helps with the managing of stuff.
Sure, it makes it really easy because it's all right there.
If it was me playing like one character, that management's not bad.
No, but when you're playing 1 to 4,
it's spread out across 4 people, 4 mercenaries. It becomes a little bit of a juggling act. Plus, the recommended lists for that change like what mercs are actually in them. So it's like this one, they're like, hey, this would be great for Kirby.
Yeah, there's a few that don't want you to take Kirby at all.
Yeah.
And it's probably a good idea not to take him.
Yeah. But so with that, I thought about spacing them out a little bit, but I did wind up doing at least the first 2 missions.
Okay, so when you say the first 2 missions, did you actually skip the initial one?
I did skip A, B, and C.
Yeah, because, A, B, and C are meant to teach you how to play the game.
Right, exactly.
So because the real game really starts once she comes through that door.
Yeah, once they get into the elevator.
The elevator.
And they open up on the wrong floor.
Yep.
And so I went through missions 1 and 2.
Okay.
And they are missions that I've played before.
Sure.
So I kind of knew my way around.
But it's also getting you back into it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I am playing with the Artificial Nexus rules as written as far as I understand them. I think sometimes I mixed up how many activations I was getting. I forgot to stack them all on top of each other. But otherwise, like doing you activate the closest minion and then you do the farthest minion. Yep. This is how you do the replenish the.
So are you doing it as written with your activations, or are you doing it kind of how we've always done it, where you can do back and forth?
I actually am doing it as written.
As written,
for the activations, because I did one of the abilities, one of the skills that they recommend. I think Erica taking by like the second mission. I think is the card that's
allows you to do that. Yeah.
So
right on.
So I am playing it that way, and it hasn't been bad. I've actually.
It's a good game. It's a good story.
Yeah, I'm really intrigued and enthralled by the story. So the first mission is basically you're kind of running around trying to find an elevator down. To basically you need to get further into the installation than you start off with because Blaine's faulty credentials only got you so far.
That sounds about right.
I'm just saying, like, for the best mercenary out there, he sure like messes up a lot.
Does he really mess up?
Or is it intentional?
I'm pretty sure it's intentional.
Dun dun dun. But so mission 1 is you're kind of exploring this space until you get to a room where you then find out where the elevator is, and you have to blow a hole in the wall to actually access it.
Yeah.
And then the second one introduces some extra mechanics, which is the one that starts off with stealth. So you guys sneak into this level, and if you're quick about it, you can take out a whole bunch of guys.
Yeah, you can do quite a lot in stealth as long as you roll good.
Like the Nexus player doesn't get anything to do until you kind of mess up.
Yep.
And so, needless to say, I messed up, and it was a bit of a slog. But I did my due diligence. So one of the things in that level is you have an optional objective to find a bomb.
Yep.
So you find the bomb by rolling a dice when you investigate specific crates in specific rooms.
Yes.
And as luck would have it, it was in the last room with the last crate. So I had to search the entire
complex
to find them, and then you have a little boss fight against Guard Commander Graves.
Yes.
And it was kind of fun because it was also that thing where like I hadn't realized I hadn't read as much of like the descriptions of the characters, and like
they're really good in there.
They're really like well crafted
yes.
like characters. Like they have a lot of nuance to who they are. Granted, like at the end of the day, you're just kind of playing against this baddie. That's maybe a little stronger than other baddies.
But still.
But yeah, it was kind of neat. Like he's a veteran from a number of wars and stuff, and has actually been kind of tired about the security guard post that he's got, and he's so ready to throw down because he's so bored.
He's done.
And so with that, we also ends by going into at least a door. I forget if it's actually an elevator again.
It's a door.
And going on to mission 3, which is one where I believe that the Rangers and the Marines, the Urbana Blackwing Rangers, are introduced.
Yeah, because I think this is the one where you have to find the office.
Yeah, you have to.
You have to fight. The funny thing is like I can literally picture the map in my head because I know because there's a desk in it and there's 1, 2, 3 tower things in there and 2 guards. Do I got it right?
Just about, I think.
It's been a long time since I played that mission too.
It's also the last one that I completed playing when the game kind of first came out. So this is as far as I got.
Did you get the secret weapon cache?
I didn't get to play the third one yet.
Oh, you haven't played it yet.
But
well, you should play it.
Just I'm working on it.
Don't forget the secret weapon cache.
Yeah, I do need to get that. But yeah, so it is one of those things I have a little bit of insight onto how the map is set up and everything.
Well, sure.
But like the gameplay itself still makes it a very challenging thing. Like there were a number of turns where like it comes back to me. I have 4 activations with my mercenaries, and I'm just like, oh man, like Wrath has been wounded within an inch of his life. Elise is way over there. How can she heal him? Like maybe he needs to take that med kit now so that he's still standing to fight another day. And you still have those really compelling decisions to make, despite it being against an artificial opponent. And despite it being just me playing 4 characters.
Well, sure.
I think it's even more engaging and more fascinating for a dynamic of 4 players against a 5th. Which is how we played it originally. Our good friend Benjamin Kinney, he would often be the Nexus. And he didn't pull any punches. He was kind of always trying to kill us.
Yeah, that was kind of his job.
And in that battle in particular, I remember the first time we played it, we got pinned down in the bottom of the U. We got halfway through the level, and then we couldn't get to the door because there was just a mass of bodies, and we just couldn't kill them fast enough. Because you'd have to do your attack, and you couldn't move afterwards. So then a baddie would move into the spot that you just cleared, and it was kind of an endless stream. But no, I'm really enjoying playing Star Saga.
Right on.
I love the story that's kind of been at play. I'm really intrigued to see where it goes, and to keep going from there.
It's one of those things because both of us have all of it.
Yeah.
And we have no idea what's going on.
The only one I don't have is the Goliath one.
Oh, okay.
Which is kind of its own.
It's literally its own thing. But neither of us, outside of, I'm at mission 5, so I'm a little bit ahead of you when it comes to have played. Outside of that, we have no idea where this story goes.
Yeah.
Still, neither of us have cheated and looked. It's been kind of fun.
Yeah. So I will say that if you guys want to give us some feedback on that, if you would like me to explain in greater detail, like story-wise, what's going on in these missions, I can certainly do that. And I might do that if maybe I'll just do like if you want to skip ahead,
the next 10 minutes.
Yeah. And I'll try to keep it brief for the most part, but
skip the next 8 minutes.
It's a story. It's a story worth hearing, I think.
Yeah.
Because
it really is.
It adds a lot to the warpath, and I think that too, just in general, where it's kind of a shame that Mantic's like the lore. They have the big lore book for the Warpath universe.
Yeah.
But it's also like missing a bunch of stuff that they have written for it in the past. Like a lot of the stuff that's in the first edition books.
Yep.
You go back to and like they have short stories included in there. It was funny because I was looking at we were trying to figure out what did dog drone stand for. Scott was asking me that. And I'm like, it's not in the third edition book anymore because they dropped the descriptions. And so I pulled out the second edition book, and it is the deployable. Oh gosh, what the heck is the middle word?
I don't even remember.
Something gun. The deployable offensive gun.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
I.e. dog.
Yeah. and so things like that, I think it would be really cool to get that a little bit more collected, and hopefully they kind of go back to doing some more of those regular community posts. I know that was something Rob really championed.
Yes.
I would like to see that continue if we could, because that was really great stuff. And so here's my crazy project, and I don't think I could do this solo.
No.
My crazy project, and I would need to get some permission for some of this.
Yep.
Would be so Kings of War has their own wiki now.
Yes.
The Phaneuf wiki.
Yep.
Where they have breakdowns of the factions and all the lore behind them and everything like that. And I was thinking of how -28.org has, pretty sure it's .org, has a lot of breakdowns of factions, and they talk about the pluses and minuses of different units and stuff. I'm like, I think we're getting to that point where
Warpath could use one.
Could really use either of those things.
Yeah.
And combining them together could be kind of neat too. I think if we had a Warpath wiki that was kind of a community driven one.
Sure.
So we have a number of kind of people that take on writing the stuff, but my goal,
transcribe.
My hope would be that we could almost take verbatim some of the wording.
Now I understand where you need to get permission.
Yeah, that's where the permission would come in. That's where the permission, and it wouldn't be stats. Like it
needs to be
that's the
lore.
Mantic Companion, and it wouldn't be the rules and stuff. But it could we could do the breakdowns of factions and how well they play against one another, and how different units play well.
That'd be pretty cool.
And I think it'd be great to have a collection of all these different planets that the Warpath universe has gone to, such as Nexus Psi, Exam 4, Magnetar. Heck, that was just this year we were at Magnetar. And so I think that it could really benefit the community to have that kind of resource available to people that are starting to get into it, because we have so many new players wanting to learn
that
more.
and it's amazing the amount of new players you get that want to know about the lore. So being able to direct them to a wiki like the Kings of War guys can, that would be super helpful.
That would be really cool. And if it had basically a press kit, right? So we can have official art of all the factions and stuff like that, and the units and stuff. So that's my idea. So Mantic, if you're listening, it might not be this year.
No, that's going to take some time.
Considering that we're in November going into December.
Well, yeah.
But it would be something I would really love to see come about over time. I think it would be a great benefit to the community. I think there's members of the community that would love to take that on.
Take it on, yeah.
And be contributors to it. But like I said, the first edition stuff, bringing a lot of that back could be really fun and give it new life.
Yeah.
There's so many different game scenarios in those first books
yes, there is.
that we don't see anymore. Even though we've got with Deadzone, we have is it 16? 16 missions?
I think it's 16 missions.
There's even more.
Yeah, there's more.
In those first edition books.
Yep.
And the expansions. And I think they'd be a great. Heck, you could just repackage them as the the escalations and the containment protocols. So we'll see what Mantic.
We'll see what happens.
We might have a guest that we're going to be talking to, so maybe we can pitch that towards him.
Yes.
Next month.
Yes, we have a very special guest next month.
Yes.
So you'll have to listen to find out who.
Tune in next time.
Dun dun.
So I think that's probably
I
enough.
think that wraps it up.
Yeah, that's probably good. So thank you guys all for checking out the podcast. Please give it a like and subscribe.
And hit all that social media
hit all
stuff.
social
You know,
media,
here comes the list.
Because we're on Spotify, Podbean, which is probably where you're listening to this, maybe.
Possibly.
We're on Twitch as Deadzone Podcast, Instagram as Deadzone Podcast, TikTok
As Rick_Hall. But yeah.
We also do have a Deadzone Podcast one.
Yes.
So that's out there too.
Yes.
We have YouTube. These episodes are now posting automatically, which is great. And we do still have our Zazzle store if you wanted to get some Deadzone Podcast swag.
Dead merch. Get your dead merch.
That sounds kind of scary. We need to get some more art for stuff to put up there, I think.
Yeah, we do.
But yeah, so yeah, that's
the social media pitch.
That's the social media pitch.
Thank you guys. We've absolutely loved recording for you guys.
Yes,
we're gonna bounce.
This has been a lot of fun. So have a good night, everybody. Yeah.
A wiki would be really cool.
A wiki would be really
because there is. I had so much fun reading the first edition book.
Yeah.
Like I had that book. I think I didn't play for like almost a month because I was reading the lore in the book, not just how to play the game.
Yeah, and like the mercenaries have like full pages dedicated to who they are and what they're not, and like I'm like, I don't want all that to get lost.
Yeah.
Because it still has a place. Like it still brings more life to the universe.
It's kind of that whole organic world kind of thing. Like not letting that stuff go away, bringing it back to the forefront kind of gives you more of an organic feel to the world of Warpath. Because the lore book is really good.
Yeah.
But that other stuff is also really good.
Yeah.
So bring it all together.
It is that. And so when I'm writing, I actually have a little sheet that I have dedicated to technology. And it's like, what are names for things?
Oh, nice.
And so it's like how the Polaris Cannon went through a couple different name changes. and like, okay, in the first edition... Nexus Psybook is when they start talking about the different spaceships that the Enforcers use.
Oh.
And that's where you get the Wyvern class as the big one, and the Draken class, which is like a 30-man ship that has one like deployable flyer inside it. And I'm like, so yeah, I'm expanding that out.
That's cool.
And like how the Urbana Blackwing Rangers have different armor than the GCPS guys.
Yes, they do.
And I'm like, it's tough getting it all together, but it's really I like to be able to add that flavor to my stories, where it's like, no, like
because your stories really take place.
Yeah.
Your stories take place in the Warpath universe, which I absolutely love. That's why I love reading them.
Yeah.
Because
I need to.
Because I get first dibs.